Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I've never dyed a disc before, but I got the beginner dye kit, which you can get over at Disc Golf Deals USA. In fact, you might even already have this. If you want to try it out, I'm going to walk you along as I dye my very first disc, and we'll kind of learn together. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got the Pro Chemical and Dye Beginner Dye Kit. Comes with 5 colors, comes with lotion, comes with the thing to put the lotion in, comes with syringes, little cups. Basically has everything you need to do a dye. There's lots of different methods to do dye, but I'm gonna try doing a basic lotion type dye. If you don't know what that means, I'm gonna kind of walk you through. This is my very first time doing it. So let's figure it out together. Let's start first by mixing the dyes. So with the beginner pack, I took the entire packet and I poured it into one of these cups. And then I added about 24 milliliters using the syringe. I measured that out. That seemed to be about the right amount for me. And then I dissolved the packet, stirring it with some straws. You can use whatever you have around the house. I wouldn't use anything that you'd want to keep though, something you can throw away. Just make sure you're using almost boiling water. Then once it was all the way dissolved, I transferred it into one of these squeeze bottles that I got from Dollar Tree, which I'd highly recommend. And then I filled it a little over halfway with the cocoa butter lotion. Now this does give me quite a bit of dye to use, but I'm just going to put the lid on this when I'm done and save this for next time that I want to dye. All right, so in your dyeing kit, you're gonna get one of these, I guess, cake pans that's just the right size to fit your disc inside. What the idea is, we're gonna create an area for us to make a pattern, and then we're gonna lay our disc in nice and neat, and then it's gotta sit for about 24 hours. So you take the cocoa butter and you fill it so that you got maybe, I'd say about half an inch of cocoa butter all the way on the bottom. And they do recommend cocoa butter. Guys who've been dyeing for a while say it's the way to go. Now it comes down to making a pattern. Now I've seen lots of different patterns online. You guys can check them out. I really am partial to dyes where half of the disc is dyed and then the other half of the disc is white. I think that looks cool when it's flying through the air. So I'm going to try to create one of those today. Here are the colors that you get. You get a red, an orange, a yellow. This is called fern. I know it looks kind of black. And then you also get a blue and a lilac is what that's called. So we're going to use some of these. Now, I would like to try to do a rainbow, but I have heard online that if you're going to do all the colors that you want to try to put them in rainbow order, because if I put like a purple with a yellow, whenever you mix them together, it ends up turning brown, and brown is never cool on a disc. We got our red, so I'm just going to do some red marks kind of right here. This is going to be our halfway point. All right. Then next, we're going to go to orange. Roy G. Biv, baby, right? Back to good old elementary school art. I know this looks kind of basic right now, but trust me, we're gonna make it look kind of fresh and cool here in a little bit. All right, then we got our yellow. All right, this said it was fern color. I assume that is green. Can't imagine what else fern would be. Oh yeah, definitely green. Does look a lot darker in the bottle. I'm just going to do a little bit of that because it is so dark. All right, here's our blue. And then we're going to end with our lilac. Now I would recommend having a paper towel handy for that. All right, now let's turn this to the side. Now this is where the magic really starts to happen. We're gonna take toothpicks. I don't know, there might be something better than a toothpick to use, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna drag the toothpick across, and then this is gonna create kind of like some flame type action, and it's gonna kind of hopefully make this start to look a little bit better. All right, you can already see looking pretty cool. I have seen guys who they don't pick the toothpick up, they just keep going back and forth. But I don't know, this kind of makes sense to me. Like I said, this is my first time doing it. Maybe I'll come up with better techniques later after I do this. First time doing something is never your best opportunity, but man, I gotta say, this is already looking pretty cool. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, we got a Dyer's Delight wave going on here. So this is gonna be pretty sick. So we're gonna try to lay it down. Now remember, whatever we lay down, that's basically where the dye is going to be. Now, this is kind of cool since the rim is black. We don't have to worry about getting all the way up to the rim. But if you got a disc, like for instance, this disc right here, you'd want to be very careful to make sure you get up to when you're pushing it down, to make sure the dye gets all the way up to at least the middle of it, maybe even down here, because it'll just look a little bit more professional. But pro tip, you got the black rim on there, you're not gonna see the dye anyway, so we just got to make sure the dye gets at least to there, and then we're gonna let it sit for 24 hours. So let's see, we're gonna put it right, like I said, I really like having half of it being white. We're gonna put it right about here, okay? And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply some pressure. This is also gonna meld some of those colors together. And then we're going to get it right up to the edge, right about there. So now the lotion is almost up to the edge there. Right there. That looks good. Now all we got to do is let it sit for 24 hours. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's see what it looks like. All right, guys, 24 hours later, let's see what I got. So basically, we're just gonna take it out of the lotion and then we're gonna rinse it off and see if it's a dud or a stud. Let's go. All right, so you just pick it up right out of the lotion solution. I mean, that looks pretty cool right there. This is kind of what I'm going for. I'm hoping half the disc is white, the other half has something color on it. Let's find out. So just like tie-dyeing, if you guys have tie-dyed before, the longer you can keep a dye on something, the more vibrant the color is. Same idea here. So 24 hours is what I heard on the recommendation. So I gotta say, so far, I mean, look how vibrant that yellow and that green and that blue color is. Oh my gosh, this is looking really cool. Might not be the coolest design and the smoothest design ever, but wow, these dyes are fantastic. All right, let's dry this sucker out. Wow, holy cow, that dye is fantastic. Well, not too bad for my first dyeing experience. Like I said, this was definitely a learning experience for sure. So stay tuned, because I'm going to try to do some more dyes, hopefully get some better patterns than just this kind of messy rainbow I got right here. So I will tag those at the end of this video once I get them up. Well, if you guys do some dyes, let me know how they turn out. And if you're looking to get some beginner dye packs that have some killer dyes just like this, head on over to Disc Golf Deals USA. They send you everything you need to get started. All right, guys, till I see you next time. Peace out.